So proud of her. She did a tremendous job from start to go. Like, and she ran into the like usual, problems like you run into like on an independent show, right? You write your card. All right, we're gonna have 6 matches no matter what. Intermission, whatever. The show's gonna be an hour and a half. We're out of there 2 if something goes wrong. We're out of there by 2 hours. So people came up out of nowhere just showing up. Hey, we were told we were booked. Like this. But she held her ground. She goes, I didn't book you, and you're not working. Like I see people walk away like a little upset with their bags from out of state and everything. But she didn't book them, and it was they just rolled up. Go ahead.
I want to know how you feel about that because I've seen that a lot, obviously.
I'm getting hot. I'm pulling my jacket off my legs. I was freezing in here. Now we're getting summer. Go ahead.
Yeah, like how do you feel about people just showing up, hoping to be booked on a show?
Hoping is one thing. Mm-hmm. Expecting is another. All right. Now I'm not against anybody coming and saying, "Hey, I'm here if you need an extra hand, whatever, ready to go or whatever." And then they go and do whatever. They blend into the back, or they go chill. Now showing up and expecting to be booked. Hey, I'm here to that's another thing that drives me absolutely nuts because you have a structured show. I mean, I do feel bad when I see people. Oh, I would like to use this and that because before when we started, they said always show up, always have your bag in your car and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Just let people know you're there. So I'm totally cool with that. But these people were showing up saying they were booked or they're expected to be on there. And then they had faces when they weren't able to be used, But I was proud of her because she held her guns. She had 6 matches. She did add a dark match or a pre-show match or whatever. And she wasn't even happy about that. But she kind of liked the one guy who was there to help. And then the other guy showed up expecting to be booked because he's from out of the country and they just put a belt on, whatever the situation was, or maybe he was misled, maybe somebody gave him the wrong information, but she put him on because she liked the other guy. Other than that, I don't think she would even did that match. So I was proud of her, because you got to have structure with shows. You can't have a show it goes 4 hours when on a Sunday afternoon and stuff like that. People are going to lose interest. Especially with the show that she ran. And it's an epilepsy awareness show. We will overcome. So you got to think half the people were wrestling fans, and the other half were people that were coming to support epilepsy, like so their families of people with epilepsy and stuff. So that was a lot of that. So it was like half wrestling and half that. So this is the first time they're going to see a wrestling event or a wrestling show, probably for the first time live. They've probably seen it. It's hard not to have seen wrestling on TV. But it's the first time you've probably seen it live. So when they come in there, you bore them to death with not bore them. Like, you can put a great show together. I've seen amazing shows that are 4 hours long. Look at WrestleMania. But but it's just this first time they're coming to a wrestling event. You don't want to overkill it, You want to leave them. They want to come in. Wow, that was cool. That was cool. And they go right here at this peak. So hopefully they become a fan and they want to come back for more because they enjoyed it. If you go out there and you kill them with 10 matches that are long or overdue, and then
what do you consider to be the sweet spot? Like anything over 2.5 hours? Like including intermission kind of gets...
Any show I ever personally ran with GWA or anything else, if it ran over 2 hours, I was about to chop heads. 1.5 to 2 hours for me, 7 matches top, but prefer 6.
Yeah, because, like when you're working the event too, I mean, and it does get a little, like it becomes a lot. And one of the promotions that I used to ring announce for, the shows would go like 3 to 4 hours, and then have to drive home after, and it becomes a lot.
You start to not like wrestling, even if the match is good, you're not watching anymore. You're so tired. You're like, oh my gosh, I gotta go.
And also, you have to show up in advance too. Like there's preparations. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
There's preparations, and then there's also like, I've been known to have early call times because it's a lot of students and we do a lot of setup. So, like, if I got a 4 o'clock show, my call time may be 1. Now, Anna had a 4 o'clock show and she had a 12 o'clock call time, but she just wanted to make sure, like, these were all students. She was mostly students. They got there and we set the chairs up. So, but I got there, so the call time was 12. I got there at 10:30. Mm-hmm. So, it's not even my show. And I was working it and that was the last match. But I got there at 10:30 and I started mopping. The call time wasn't until 12. And when she says 12, unfortunately, when you say 12,
it means
you
two.
really mean like 1 in your head. You're hoping they show up by 1, and then the doors open like at 2:30. But so when I would run a show, though, I don't know. My call times would vary, but if it was a 4:00 show, I'd probably say 1 at the earliest. But if you were 1 for students, now if you were a talent that I brung in, that I know that you can wrestle, I hired you, and I'm paying you professional wage, then if it was 4, I'd ask for you to be there by 3, no later, but 2:30.
Well, because some people, because let's say that it is a hired talent, and let's say they're working a student. It's nice to have time to go over a match, and sometimes you want to do that inside the ring. And then if someone shows up late, you don't really have that opportunity.
No, you don't have that opportunity, but I like to think anybody I train really doesn't need to go in there.
Okay. Fair enough.
But no, on my end, I feel like they should be good enough to be able to
call in the ring. You mean?
Now, yes, to be calling, but there's things you get to the ending of the match. You start with the ending. The way I teach and train the ladies and gentlemen You call your finish first.
Okay.
Because, that's the last thing that people see. That's the most important thing. No matter what, you can work up to that. You get that done, because if you call that and something changes and you haven't called the other stuff, at least you have that done. Also, you call that first so you don't do anything bigger than that as you build up to that. Because everybody starts here. What happens is they start in the beginning. And they call, oh, this is cool. And they're all excited as they call this. Oh, this will be cool here. This will be cool here. This will be cool here. And then when they get to the end of the match, you're like, oh, we did this already, we did this. And so what are you going to do, a triple Indi here? So then it just gets all insane, and it's usually just ridiculous at the end. It doesn't even make sense because they didn't want to even backtrack and take away what they call and say. They try to leave that. Always start here so you don't do anything bigger than here. Everything builds up to that, right? And then no matter what, if you're here and you called that first and they change the order, you can always work to that. Anything goes wrong in between A, B, and C, you already have D called, so you're gonna deliver on D. You know what I mean?
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, so
well, that's why you're a teacher, and
no, it's just some of my preferences. But guys that are coming in to wrestle, they're professionals. I wouldn't ask them to come in and sit there that early. Now, I would ask my students to come in because we're setting up or talking. But I've had a call time that I wasn't 2 hours ahead of them. I've always been there even earlier than they are. Even Anna's call time, not my show, but I was there mopping and everything else because that's just me. I'm a 6P guy. We've gone over the 6Ps tons of times here. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. But that show ran. I got to say, that show, and I never hardly say this, and I'm like, these were never, but it was on point. It ran, boom, boom, boom. It started at 4. By 7, a quarter to 7, and I live a half hour away from there. By 6:45, I was already home with my gear in the wash, getting ready to eat dinner. And that's taking all the chairs down, cleaning the whole building out, locking it up, and going.
That's amazing. So I'm upset that I couldn't be there, but I'll be there for the next one.